intake rich without the O2s and the battery clearing the computer and everything. Taste the fuel. Okay. Yeah. I just started it up just to kind of blow out anything that might have still been in the exhaust there. Because the next thing to do is to bolt the turbo on. This intake tubing, of course, isn't going to be like this right here. I just had to hook it up to get the mass airflow sensor in the stream. Gonna have to rework this. Probably just make it use exhaust pipe. Come down. A little smaller pipe and use a coupler. I'll have to weld in a fitting for this stupid thing for the bypass, air bypass. The breather though, I'll probably just put separate breathers on there. I do got this just kind of sitting in place. I did get all this to bolt back on. I did have to cut that aluminum bracket. One little piece off of it was all I had to cut, and it bolted back on. I switched this rubber hose around so that this 90 is right there. I've got about a 3/8 of an inch gap right now. So I'll put a piece of sheet metal around that as a shield. Reflect radiant heat. I'm gonna have to rework this electrical wire that goes down to the crank sensor and to the compressor. Because it used to go right here, but it's gonna get melted right there. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that later. The radiator hose is the only other thing that's gonna need to be moved probably, because my downpipe's gonna go right here. So I might have to rework that with a piece of pipe and some hose couplers when I get done. But there'll be a lot more room without this intake in there. The turbo's gonna be sitting right here. And for now, I'm probably just going to connect the intake directly to it and just run it a little extra rich without an intercooler at first. Probably put the biggest wastegate spring I could put in there. Or actually the lightest one, I guess that would be the lightest wastegate spring. That way it'll run lower boost at first. I'm probably planning on doing a water to air intercooler with a pump later, just to keep it low profile and low buck. Got some spine fin coil I plan on using for that. Just put it inside a box and run a loop of water through it. A little spine fin coil up front of the radiator. Just go into a reservoir, and then it'll keep that water down to ambient. And then I can, there's some room behind the fenders and stuff, but it can hide pumps and all sorts of stuff. Some room, not a whole lot. But anyway, the next thing to do is the downpipe and the oil fittings, of course. Supply is easy. The return, I still haven't decided how I'm going to plumb that in yet. If I want to punch and tap a hole in the timing chain cover, or if I want to do that to the oil pan. Usually we do it to the oil pan. So unless I find something that gives me access. Wish I could find something that would unbolt. I could take off the car, machine it, and then put it back on. Anyway, it's getting there. Okay. Made a little bit of progress today, but I didn't get to work on it too much because I had to take the daughter to her karate class, which I have to do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so it's really cutting into my time. I have bowling league on Thursday night, so I haven't been able to stay on this very long each day. I'd have this oil lines fitted by now, but I did manage to mount this bracket, so this is going to just go back on pretty much like it was, other than just can be moved over about 2 inches that way. I just kind of repurposed the bracket, cut it, and redid it. I made a piece of the bracket I cut off. I modified here. It goes down and welds to that flange for the turbo, just to help weight of the turbo being on there, just to maybe give it a little extra stability, since all the weight will be on the exhaust. And I did bolt the turbo on. Next thing to do would be this is a 3-inch, so it'll be 3-inch coming out of there. I'll have to go get a 3-inch pipe. I'll have to make a pretty quick turn right here. To go down there, I have to move these wires a little bit. I'll have to extend a couple wires, I think. But other than that, like I said, a lot of this stuff is bolted back up under here. I mean, I got all the coolant back up. I got to put the brace back in. This coil pack's back on its aluminum bracket that I just notched. Power steering line, I ran the hard line on that side, the inner side of that pipe. It's not going to get hurt by the heat of the exhaust. The rubber line goes over there, but it's got a little bit of a gap. But like I said earlier, I'll probably put a piece of sheet metal around it, maybe. Yeah, so, and of course this heat wrap is going to hold quite a bit of that radiant heat in there. So, plus you want to keep it hot. You want it to cool off because that's what drives the turbo, is the hot expanded gases. So, I don't know, it's going to look pretty cool. And it's still low buck, so I'm getting there.